of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day, while the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor. He was telling you to build your own house.
Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry for the delay tonight, but I have my own business, and sometimes things get a little hectic. I got to do a little more. My cameras seem to be a little bit off. Let me adjust that. Let's get to it. Sorry. Okay, welcome to the Thursday night edition of the No PC Show. Before we even get started, I just got something I want to address to the young people. Let me put my collar down. See if I can show this. That says, my block, my hood, my city. Somebody asked me what that meant yesterday. I said, that means I'm free to go anywhere in this city and shouldn't have to be afraid of black people. As they said in the self-destruction song, I never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black man. I'm bringing that up because I was supposed to have a summer intern starting where a group called Aunt Martha's in Park Forest wanted to give him an opportunity to improve his circumstances. He had 2 kids, 28 years old, and he calls and says he doesn't feel comfortable with the area where the store is at, which is amazing to me because where he lives compared to where the store is at is a difference of night and day, and we have a better surrounding. We have Chamber of Commerce, Black College Fund, Family Legacy, U-Haul. We got a couple of churches, and we got a Starbucks. And they were offering him $20 an hour plus an Uber account to get from back and forth. Just 20 hours a week. That's all they were going to pay. But $20 at 20 hours a week is pretty much the same as 40 hours for $10 an hour if you break it down. And he turned it down. He needs to get his Black Lives Matter shit together because I just found that incredible. And this is what I mean when we're looking at what we're doing and how we're conducting business and handling business. We got to do a much better job than what we're doing. And for me, that's pretty much really unacceptable. And at that age, if you are still involved in gang activity, you need to check yourself. You should be able to tell your friends, hey, man, I got these kids to take care of. After I did that last little time, I'm done. I got to look out for my shorties, make sure that they got a better chance in life and walk away. And if you can't do that, then you have not become a man yet. And being a man has nothing to do with who you can whoop and all this other type of nonsense that you get involved in the street. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Blow that shit out, like they say. But now we want to move into the real nonsense that that everybody's talking about. So I guess we're gonna talk about it too, and that's your boy Nick Cannon. Hopefully, everything is working fine over here. I'm getting a little hesitation. Nick Cannon, let me put this on the screen because I want to share my screen with you. For the people over on the Facebook side, we put a link out there every week for you to come over to the YouTube side to see the graphics and things, because otherwise you're just going to have to wait till I post this in the room. But if you're interested in seeing it now, please come over to the Facebook side. We got a call-up number and we got an email address, which we'll probably let people call in shortly, but please don't call in right now. So, put up the little web capture so you can see my screen. Your boy, Nick Cannon, got in trouble talking out against the Jews. But not just the Jews, just reciting some history. So tonight's show is called When the Truth Doesn't Apply to Jew. That's a little play on word. When the truth doesn't apply to Jew. It is amazing to me constantly. And this is a part that we shouldn't have to put up with. Everybody they decide is anti-Semitic against the Jews has to pay. And it just didn't start now. They were saying Elijah Muhammad was anti-Semitic. They were saying Malcolm was anti-Semitic. They were saying Farrakhan is anti-Semitic. It's been a whole push to get black people off of any type of media. So they banned Farrakhan. They got rid of Roland Martin. He went out and set up his own stuff. Tavis Smiley, they brought everything against him. Well, this happened. Well, it is what it is. You all perpetrate until you can't perpetrate no more. So now, latest victim, you saw what happened to Kevin Hart. When Kevin Hart, they went back and found some old things and said, nigga, you got to apologize again. Now, if you want to be a part of what we have created, Hollywood, and you want this nice trophy, look at this trophy, Kevin. Look at it. Look at it, nigga. You're not going to get it if you don't apologize again like your master said. Kevin came. First he said he wasn't, but then he apologized. Then it became a whole movement against the Oscars. Nick came out, said what he said. Then, next day, Nick apologizes. There he is. This is the system. This how it works. So no matter when the truth becomes the lie, or you get punished for telling the truth, what type of freedom is that? Sounds a lot like buck breaking. You can't see what we're showing on the screen if you're on the Facebook side. But I've got a screen up here. It says the buck breaking for defiant slaves. I'll read a little bit for you. Buck breaking occurred when an angry American slave master thought a slave was being defiant and needed to be taught a lesson. Hence, the African male would be forced to lower his pants and bend forward over a tree stump for a similar protrusion with his buttocks propped up in the air. Kevin, you stepped out of line. Assume the position. Roland, you stepped out of line. Assume the position. Nick, you stepped out of line. Assume the position. And this happens to us on a constant basis. This is what it means to be a black man in America. And we just did a couple of shows about this Jew stuff, and I'm tired of all you Negroes coming to the defense of the Jews too. Well, two wrongs don't make a right. Well, whatever. Let's stop behaving like some patsies. If a man comes and spits in your face and you don't do nothing about it, that's a problem. Don't talk to me about forgiveness with you spitting in my face. Let me spit back in your face and then you forgive me. Show me how it's done. But when you ain't got shit, or when they have given you all that you have, then they your daddy. Just like Kanye said to Trump. Oh, he my daddy. Yeah, that's the way the system works. What can we say? Kareem came out and he was like, where's the outrage over anti-Semitism in sports in Hollywood? And he kind of went in on Ice Cube and what's that girl's name? Handler. Because Cube made some comments, and Chelsea Handler, she posted Farrakhan, who did a speech, which they said was, again, anti-Semitic for the stuff he said. And how is history anti-Semitic? The term is kind of like an old term, and it originally referred to the Asiatic Afro-black man. It just changed meanings over the years. The original Jews were Hebrews. But, everything changes when they say it changed. I do have some other interview where Nick and Professor Griff, which I don't know if a lot of people remember, Professor Griff kind of got booted out at Public Enemy because they said he was anti-Semitic. That, it was a whole bunch of issues there because you're not allowed to speak up against Jews. That's just the way it is. You're supposed to act like the Holocaust that happened over there is worse than the Holocaust that happened to black people throughout the world. The 65 million blacks that were destroyed. And when we say slavery, we can't just talk about here in America. We got to talk about that whole route where they dropped off slaves, Jamaica, Grenada, Cuba, South America, the Virgin Islands. All that slavery. And in some parts, it still appears to be slavery. I remember going to Jamaica, and I couldn't enjoy myself because they kept telling me they were a French colony. And the poverty was so extreme for a place where, excuse me, where billions of dollars come in yearly. Hold on. Got to get a little sip. Where billions of dollars come into the Jamaica and these Virgin Islands and all these type of places. Yet, they don't get to take part of it. How does that work? You're denied the freedom to leave it's not a continent, the island. You're denied the opportunity to go to school because you're so impoverished, so let's keep you underfoot, which happens to us here in America. And the few Negroes that are able to uplift themselves through sports, because we love to be entertained, and we run the entertainment business. They're acting like Jews don't run the entertainment business, like they don't run Hollywood. You're acting like they don't have a big major stake in the music business. These are facts. Nobody's disputing that. They're acting like we don't do enough for ourselves. And that's, well, I guess like Nick said, we got to be careful because they got a big stake in the banks too. And they got a big stake in politics too. So all you Bernie supporters that are always screaming out, Bernie's got great ideas. Yeah, he's got great ideas, but it's one idea that he needs to have that he doesn't have, and that's reparations for black folks. And I hate that we're even getting distracted by this because isn't it still supposed to be about George Floyd? Aren't we still pissed off about that? And all the other ones that have died that we are allowing ourselves to be kicked off because I guess it was Deshaun Jackson and Steven Jackson a couple of weeks ago. When you control the media, you get to make up all types of stories. So Viacom, who I think they own VH1, BET, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we acted like it's black. No. They make money off of black people and the ignorance that we put on. Wild 'N Out is a show. Occasionally, I'll catch it, watching and laugh. The Masked Singer, sometime I'll catch it and laugh. So they told Nick, you out of here, nigga. We don't like what you said, how you said it. You didn't learn from when Arsenio had Farrakhan on the show and we canceled his ass. Then we got him come back a few years ago, and it seemed like he hadn't learned his lesson. And after we had Jay Leno come out and say, you've been renewed for a second season, we canceled his ass again. Because we in power. And you niggas don't have nothing. And our job is to keep you from getting stuff. At least through us. Because we the good old Jews. Yeah, I said it. We the good old Jews. How about that? They got a problem with that? So with all this censorship of hate speech, which is a note I definitely have to get on because they're going to use this as the ploy to get rid of all the black truth in the media because now they can label it hate talk. Even though it's not hate talk, they can label it hate talk and address it as hate talk and then force sponsors and Facebook and all this as hate talk. So when LeBron says, no, I'm not going to sign up for that, what you telling me what I can put on my jersey? That's just like telling me shut up and dribble, right? But we keep playing these Mickey Mouse games with these people when this is the time to voice our voice. The biggest problem with the black man in America is a lack of having a voice. He can't speak up. He can't say what he wants to say. He can't be a real man. And then if I don't like what he's got to say, you know, he's definitely not going to be a real man because he's going to have a problem paying his rent and everything. But he don't have the balls to change his life, to change his surroundings. So I'll continue to do this type of crap. What are you going to do? So you know what happened. And we didn't want to see it happen, but there was today, a day later, because Nick wanted to keep wilding out and something else. And they were basically like, man, we ain't going to give you nothing. But then they looked at the little contracts and said, we got to pay this Negro regardless whether we keep him on or not. So I believe they just went ahead and said, you know what? We're going to keep him on to honor this contract. And then don't worry, we're going to kick him back off. But Puffy is saying to Nick, hey, come over to Provoke TV. That's my thing over here, where you can be free. But no, Nick is gone. He going to go back and continue to work with the Jews because that's his bread and butter. He's got money in the bank. I think Nick is worth almost $1 billion. I don't know. Well, I know Kanye is worth about $1 billion. Nick, I'm not sure, but he's got enough money to be comfortable. And this is one thing I'm going to start putting out there. If you got $1 million and can't open your mouth, you're a coward, period. Oh, I got to continue to live at a certain level where I'm spending $1 million a year. Ignorance. You don't need to do it. You got Terry Crews out there. He's always putting a foot in his mouth and tap dancing for the white folks and getting his manhood grabbed. Hey, Kathy. He's getting his manhood grabbed and all this other type of stuff, and he's still putting up with it. You can't feel free no matter how much they pay you if they continue to control your life and put their foot on your neck and you got to walk on the eggshells. What type of freedom is that? That's not freedom at all. That's still slavery. And I know everybody's like, oh, well, we got to pay bills. Yeah, but take ownership of some stuff. Now, he came out and said that Viacom had been screwing him over for years on different type of contracts. And so he has no ownership. That it basically sounds like they didn't really give him ownership. Maybe he didn't read the fine print, that if he violated certain rules and regulations, that they would be able to finagle something, but maybe they just don't want to go to court. The bottom line is another Negro has been buck broke. He assumed the position, and maybe that's my problem. When I was in corporate America, I just refused to be broke. I was like, hey, do what you're going to do. I'm still going to walk out of here with my head up. I'm not bending over. I'm not touching my toes. I'm not doing any of that because you're wrong. And people will say, well, that's why you didn't get the promotion. Okay, whatever. God gave me what I needed. I'm cool with that. I'm just not cool with people controlling my life in such a way that's unfair. If you're treating everybody the same, like Jabbar says, I'm all for fairness. I want everybody to be treated the same way. The problem comes in because we're treated differently. And we're treated differently only because we're black. You're not getting treated differently because you're a Christian, because you're a Muslim. No, you're being treated differently, and it's being held up by your government with these fake-ass distractions of we don't give a damn about what the Jewish people are doing unless it affects us. People know the history of Jews. We don't have to have a big discussion about Jews. And there was some Jewish rabbi saying he's working with Nick now and educating him on the story of Judaism. And okay, whatever, fine, great. What's that got to do with us and reparations right now? What's that got to do with the Black Lives Matter movement? What's that got to do with George Floyd, Tamir Wright, Ed Gardner? What does this have to do with the justice of black men in America? It's got nothing to do with it. So I'm not going to waste any more seconds. I mean, if somebody wants to call in and have a chit-chat, the number is on the screen. Wait a minute. Where it was on the screen, I got to put it back up. Doop, 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 doop. I really got to clean up my section here. Our dialing number is 872-267-2552. That is 872-267-2552. 872-267-2552. We're only going to keep the lines open for 5 minutes. If anybody's got an opinion, they want to add something to this. I just have to say, the the best feeling I've had for the past 2 years is when I walked away from corporate America. And it was like walking off a plantation. Of course, you're going to have these fears of how am I going to feed my family and take care of myself. But with every year, that subsides a little more and a little more, where with this pandemic, nobody knows what's going to be what. But next month will be two years since I walked away and got this logo put on my chest by me, where I don't have to get up every morning and be in fear of, am I going to lose my job because some white man has an issue with me standing up and being a black man? Do I have to sit here and watch white people and others? And when I say white people, I include all the Europeans in it. I'm not going to separate you by iris and all this other stuff. No, you're white too. White, Jews, whatever. I'm putting you all in the boat because I've worked with all of you and I've seen the way that you all act. And according to what I've seen and what I've experienced, this is what you all do. So I'm not anti-white, anti-Jew or anything. I'm pro-black. And you're not going to make me feel bad because I'm pro-black. Oh, you should feel bad. You should not say this. That man going somewhere. We done had 400 years of this nonsense. Black people can speak freely now. And we're not going back in the closet because you're bothered, because we recite your history. I remember back in '83, my teacher, Mr. Phillips, introduced us to the Moors and how the Moors controlled Europe for centuries before they were defeated, and how a lot of the customs and histories, the whole thing with being a Mason, that was a Moorish type of thing, and how a lot of the white people were nomadic. They didn't have a land to really call their own. They didn't have a culture to call their own. The Dark Ages were when they were in the dark, not when blacks were in the dark, but they were in the dark. So when Nick and those people recited that, it was exactly right. When they crawled around Europe seeking some type of understanding of who they were, and they were nomadic. And they figured, well, we're going to conquer through what we know, through our savagery. And they went into Africa, and they destroyed Africa. At the same time, slavery was ending here. Oh, but are these lies? No, this is the truth. The Jews got paid for, I never said what happened to them wasn't a bad thing. Yeah, it was bad. It happened over there. And now you guys are on top of the world because you got reparations, you got repaired. So don't ever say to a black man, and I've talked to a lot of Jews, and they'll tell you all types of crazy stuff. Jay Steinberg, a customer of mine I work with all the time, he says, you know what the problem with you black guys are, Richard? You got too much pride. He says, me, as a Jew, if I got to get on my knees to get that check, I'm going to get on my knees to get that check. You rather starve than get on your knees and get that check. And I say to Jay, I've been on my knees long enough. You can easily get on your knees to get a check now because you've been getting the check all along. So you enjoy the privileges of getting a check. Even if I get that check, the check's probably not as good as your check. The circle of influence that I have is nowhere near your circle of influence because your check turns into power. My check turns into groceries. It's two different levels of understanding in the world. That's why I don't get excited about money and being rich and all this other stuff. And you can miss me with that. Can I live? Can I be comfortable? Because I know what comes along with that. And we talked about it before. We said, oh, You Negroes want to be like us? Oh, you want to live in a house like mine? Sure, I'll let you do that. But you're going to pay more interest, even though my credit score is worse than yours. You're going to pay more interest for it. You're going to pay more interest for your car loans. You're going to pay more interest for student loans if we allow you to even make it through the school system. So the increase in tuition is about keeping less and less people educated, which affects us more than it affects them. So they got all these little angles, just like they were mad at LeBron James' agent. So now they come up with a rule because he doesn't have a college degree, but he's making tons of money. Him and LeBron are making tons of money through the corporation that LeBron set up with him. Well, he doesn't have a college degree, so he can't be making money. When did that rule come out? Oh, you just made that up now. Because your life says whenever you're not winning, you can change the rules and you can say, this nigga here can't win. But that's what Frederick Douglass says. He says, on my downward spiral, I am met with no resistance. I am encouraged to fall to the deepest depth. But on my ascension, on my attempted ascension, I'm met with ridicule, opposition at every turn. But we accept this because we keep defending those people. It's like the Stockholm Syndrome, that we keep defending these people. And they know what people are saying is true. But like we said, the show is called The Truth Is Not in Jew. And I don't care. You know why? Because they're living better than us. They've got more advantages than us. They're getting paid reparations, not only from other places, but from America. When Obama walked out of the office, he wrote a check for $282 million to Israel, which is a Jewish state. Just gave him the money. Here you go. Set up a foundation for the survivors of Jews. Let's give them another $75 million. Just anything rolls off the books goes to everybody, but you got us sitting around looking like a bunch of goofies, waiting on somebody to vote on the H.R. 40 bill, which is just a bill that they want to take $100,000. Understand this. They want to take $100,000 to study the effects of what they did in slavery, not Jim Crow, just slavery, and does it have an effect on us? Because they've already determined Jim Crow, that didn't really have an effect. You know, y'all have had 60 years now to get it together. It comes down to respect. We don't respect ourselves enough to do things as a separate group. We look at all other groups, and all other groups pull that separate stuff. The Chinese, Jews, everybody's got their own communities. It's looking great. They've got money. They control the environment that they in. And there's really not no drive-bys in Chinatown, in the Jewish neighborhoods. I mean, you get a shooting here or there, but, you know, for the most part, it's under control, self-contained. I always say, what are we going to do? I was thinking, do I want to play this clip to head out? I think I will. Well, the people on the Facebook side can't see the video. But like I said, we put a link in there. You can always click that link, come to the Facebook side, the YouTube side, click the subscribe button, click the notification button, and that will allow you to see everything that we're showing. I am going to end with this clip. It's about a 4.5 minute clip with Nick Cannon talking to Professor Griff, and this is supposedly some of the stuff that was said that got them kicked off. So on that note, love, peace, soul, We out of here.
Let's go to what it really is then. When we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys, and understanding that our melanin is so powerful and it connects us in a way that the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what Dr. Francis C. Welsing talked about is that fear in that
just genetic annihilation,
that deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul that we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, they're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went into the land that actually where we are originated. And instead of trying to make friends, they said, we want what you got. Because there's this mentality of whether it's the Caesars or even that we have to conquer.
Right.
So I say all that to say the context. And when we speak of whether it's Jewish people, white people, Europeans, the Illuminati, they were doing that as survival tactics to stay on this planet.
Right, because
we never had to do that.
Right, because
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them bull clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you want a motherfucker. in a war zone. Living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone. Living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.